Hi there, I'm Brent, and I'm the webmaster of Newduereview, the content creator of this YouTube channel as well. Okay, so what is this video? What are we doing? This is, I guess, the first official video or vlog, if you will. I'm not really sure actually what to call it. That's what I guess this video is going to do. It's going to be one long continuous take of me talking about a few topics that I think are interesting, and I guess it'll be sort of a way to create a dialogue, explain I guess in this first video in the series who I am, the purpose of the website, a little bit of history of it too. The site has been around for a little while now. What else? I guess just talk about my skills, so that you can learn who I am, and I guess just where we're headed. So the first thing I guess we'll address is just the format of this video. So if you just started watching this, it's just going to be me talking. It's going to be one continuous take, and I think that there's a lot to unpack with just that concept. If you watched my reading list, the 2019 reading list, I talk about Bret Hart as a wrestler. It was one of the first books I read actually around this time of the year. Fantastic book. I love pro wrestling. I watched it as a kid. I'm a big fan. For a while I wasn't in the 2000s, in that period of time, but more recently I've become quite the fan of pro wrestling again. So reading Bret Hart's biography was quite eye-opening, and so the concept of one take, one shot really resonates, I think, with the discipline of pro wrestling, because you're out there, you're performing, you've got one shot to have your performance come through. And I find that working under that limitation has, I guess, some hidden benefits, or some things that you can't realize or see when you start to edit and manipulate the film or things like that. So that's why I'm choosing to do this all in one take. And it's also maybe a little bit of an artistic statement to when it comes to recording music. That's what we'll talk about, I guess, in a little bit, is my skills, which is primarily music. Analog recording, having to do things in one take, the limitations of the analog technology forced musicians to perform in certain ways. Arguably, you could say that their skill was a lot, they were more skillful in previous times when working under those technological restraints. Now, because we have digital recording, you can punch into your part, record snippets, and then edit together very easily. And it sounds decent, so there's that concept to work with as well. So that's why I'm choosing here to do this all in one take. You're gonna see me and ah, maybe have awkward pauses. I don't know if I'm looking at the camera correctly. Just adjust my glasses. So there's the camera lens right there, but there's also a screen right here. So sometimes I'll look, my eyesight will kind of go away from the lens. So maybe that's awkward. I don't know. I mean, I'm not very good at talking on camera or public speaking. So there's that. Maybe it'll be funny for you when you're watching this. So where are we going with that? So one big take. We're just gonna talk. I guess I'll add into if we just touch on my inexperience on camera, because what we're going to get into is some TikTok stuff and some ideas that are floating around on TikTok. So what's up with that? So TikTok made me a little bit more comfortable on camera. I use it on my phone. I've been using it for a few months, and it's made me more comfortable in front of the camera, making videos, expressing myself artistically, comedically as well, just being silly and ridiculous. It's a lot of fun. And just putting the videos out there for everyone to see, and just being comfortable with the fact that people people can see who you are and possibly criticize you and judge you, but that's all part of being a performer in that way. But it's still to come to terms with that is difficult for a lot of people, including myself, and that's why I guess you see not many people in front of the camera. I guess people. It's hard. So I guess that's what I have to say about that. TikTok just made it a little bit easier for me. It's gotten me into a groove of speaking and I guess performing in a way. So where are we going? But before we get into actually what we're going to talk about, let's just go over, I guess, who I am and my skills, I guess a little bit of the history of the website, so that so you know more, so you know what this all is. The website and the blog I run is called Newduereview. It's basically, the focus right now is music, art review, critique in general, I guess. Review, that's why it's in the name. The name of the website was appropriated from a Parliament funk song off the Trombipulation album in 1980. I'm going to be careful with the facts because I'm doing this all in one take, so I have to double check that. But I'll put a link, in there so that you can double check. But there was a song on that album called Newduereview, but it was D-O-O. I think it was referencing hair, like a hairdo. Oops, that's opposite. Weird. Anyways. So the song talked about hair, but I found the name, the name kind of caught me, plus it had a really good funk bass line. So it caught me that way. And as I was developing the idea for this blog, I thought, well, maybe that's a good name, but I'll tweak it and change it a bit so that it means something a little bit different while still kind of retaining the same aura of that original name. So it's Newduereview. D-U-E is in time. It's time for a new review. It's time for something new. Because I think we're at a point in time in the history of technology, the history of art and all that, where we really need something new, more credible, more honest. And I think that's where I'm going to go with it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just be brutally honest, speak the truth as much as I'm capable of with the facts that I know here and now while I'm sitting on this couch. And that's kind of what I want. And that speaks to many things that are happening right now, primarily on the internet, in the digital world, where information is... I want to say ephemeral, ungraspable. It's changeable. It's maybe it's more plastic. I guess you could say it's malleable. It changes. The certain dialogues can be crafted in a way to push agendas. So there's that. Information can be flat out wrong. Information can be tweaked so that it's not quite correct. Videos can be altered. We're now experiencing the deep fake phenomenon, the rise of artificial intelligence, changing video. That's a little wild, but it still puts us into that dialogue of honesty and truthfulness and authenticity, which is a reason why I'm doing this in one take. I want you to see every part of me in the way that I exist in this moment. So I want you to believe what I am who I am. I don't want to do edits or any fancy graphics or anything like that. I just want it to be raw, unfiltered. I guess you could say it's a spoken word performance, maybe. I'm not sure. You can call it whatever you want. It's just me talking, really. There's therapeutic elements to this in a way. So there's that. So where are we going with this? The authenticity, the truth part of it. I came up with this idea around the holidays when I was playing cards with my dad. And we were just chatting, and he's like, why don't you do something that for a video where you speak the truth, you just be honest. And I've been thinking about that for the past while, and the premise is a little bit unformed. It's fairly raw, and so I want to develop that in this format is to just take just go for the truth, be brutally honest. And I'm going to move that into who I am, what my skills are, what my background is, and all that, because I think that's important for an audience to know where my truth comes from. I have a fine arts degree in music composition. I've been a musician for most of my life. More recently, not as I've transitioned into sales roles, marketing roles, content writing. Freelance stuff, writing articles. So that music is my primary skill set. It's the strongest one I have. I build everything on top of that. When I'm learning new skills, like I did with sales, I would learn it as I would learn music. I would practice in similar ways. I would gather information in ways. I would just pretend like what I was doing was music, and so for me it made the learning process just a little smoother, more familiar for myself. Because learning new skills is difficult. It's not easy to learn a whole new discipline, develop a new skill, which sales is a whole fantastic, noble discipline, and it's hard. So there's that challenge I have to face personally is developing new skills outside of music. But music is my primary skill. So the website is focusing on a few music reviews. I have an article series called the Music I Never Shared, and it's sort of just like old songs. Maybe I guess you could say they're guilty pleasure songs. And so I made a playlist. I wrote about the songs and my experience with it, and I've put up some music that I composed during university to showcase that. So I was combining kind of two things onto the website, so it could create more content and whatnot. So that's kind of where the site is right now. So if we talk about the history of Newduereview, originally it was actually a marketing a website, and the name again was sort of ambiguous, so that I could talk about marketing stuff, review anything, right? So it was fairly ambiguous that way. But it was difficult because I didn't know marketing, especially digital marketing and affiliate marketing, which was the purpose of the blog is to monetize the website through affiliate marketing. And so I was learning at the same time, and it made the content challenging because I was learning it as I was writing it and posting it, and it was a great experience. It was hard, and so after a while, playing with the blog and trying to grow it, bots ate the website. It got infected. I left the website unchecked for a little while. I guess things got out of date, and I guess it happens. But it was a godsend when I think about it, because it gave me an opportunity to remake the site, redo the vision, and make it more music focused, which is really my skill. And there's other ways to monetize it through affiliate marketing platforms like Amazon, like ClickBank, CJ Affiliates, which is a Commission Junction previously. And there's a ton of other affiliate marketing platforms that you could, if you were a blog, monetize your website under any niche, any topic. Mine is what it is, but I mean, if you're dealing with like outdoors or mountain climbing, travel, woodworking, I don't know, like pick whatever topic you want to talk about, make your blog about. There's going to be something out there for you to monetize and sell. And so affiliate marketing was attractive in that way. And so I'm going to move the conversation of that into a sales career that I had previously, which actually got me interested in affiliate marketing, mainly because affiliate marketing is sort of sales related, because you're making content that is influencing someone to purchase a certain product through your affiliate links. So your content has to be convincing, I guess, in a way. So it's sales, I feel, in a different form in content. So that's kind of how I ended up where I'm at now with Newduereview in the blog, using affiliate marketing as a monetization method. So that's kind of where it's at. So, we talked about my history, with music, a little bit of the history of the blog, what I want to be doing in this video, talking about the truth, being authentic, because I really think that that's super important. And I feel it's going to be more important as we move into the future, as people, as platforms develop and people get onto these new platforms and start making different types of content. So I guess we'll start talking about the topics I want to cover in this video, in a sort of TikTok related. I'm just going to have some water real quick here. Maybe I'll put the Rubbermaid drink as an affiliate link. That's just a joke, I'm sorry. It's kind of silly. Okay. So, so TikTok, what we're going to talk about, and what I think I will continue to talk about, is reviewing internet business models. Because what's happening on TikTok right now is there's content creators that they're just making sort of a clout-like flexing videos about their business models, trying to educate people on what they're doing. There's sort of a resurgence of the flipping a business model. I guess primarily because Gary V is very good at his content marketing, and that's one of the things that he talks about is just flip items. Go on Craigslist and get free stuff, and then just sell it on the Facebook Marketplace or whatever platform that you choose. So I want to talk about that a little bit, and then I want to talk about drop shipping with Alibaba. I guess with Shopify. So I want to talk about those things, and so that is kind of related to TikTok, because a lot of content creators are talking about that in various ways. Sometimes it's comedic, sometimes it's just purely educational, sometimes they're just going like, oh, look what I'm doing. But it makes you think, as you consume that content, you sort of get absorbed into it, and it makes you ask questions about it. I don't know a lot about drop shipping, so just know that. Also know that I'm in Canada. So if this is triggering you to write a comment, maybe laws are different in other parts of the world. So know that I'm here in Canada. So if that changes anything, so TikTok. I posted a few videos, really just asking questions about the flipping business model, or I guess it's really a reseller business model, I guess you could say, and drop shipping. So I posted a video basically asking, what are you if you're making content that features clearly branded logos, how are you getting around trademark infringement, that sort of thing. So I asked a question about that. I don't have any answers yet, but another question I asked was, when you buy a new product from a store, because that's what the video is about, is someone went and they're buying a product new from the store and reselling it online for more expensive price. So I was asking, so if you sell that product to somebody else, do they get the warranty? Does it transfer? An answer I got from somebody in TikTok was no, the warranty does not transfer, so you get the product. So if we talk about that for a little bit, I guess buyer beware, you buy at your own risk. So you wouldn't get a warranty on that new product that you're buying from somebody's online store. So I don't know. I've got some opinions about that. But another thing that was mentioned in that comment was the fact that usually what people are attracted to is these out of stock items. So a more rare item, something that you couldn't get in a store. Maybe they geographically can't get it where they live. So there's that appeal. So they may not mind paying a marked up price for this particular item without any warranty. So that's a good answer, I guess, or at least it answers the question. My feelings about that are, I don't know, it's a little mixed. I guess it depends on what it is you buy. These are shoes that were being sold, so shoes are shoes. You're gonna wear them, and they'll eventually fall apart at some point. I guess the warranty would expire anyway after a while, so I don't know. That's a tough one, but it becomes more complex when you deal with more. I guess more complex items, more technological stuff. If it breaks, who's going to be responsible for that? I guess nobody, because there's no warranty. So, that's one thing. The other question I had was taxes related. So you're buying and flipping. I guess you're going to have to pay tax. Do you collect more tax? I guess at this point you'd have to register as a business and then file business taxes. I don't know anything about that. So I don't have any experience with starting a business. So I have no answers for that, and I'm just kind of waiting for that. Maybe I'll just double check while I'm with you on the camera to see if there's any answers. No, it looks like it's still the same. So, all right. Okay, so there's that question. So when you see a video of someone going like, "Oh, I'm flipping. It's so easy. You should start this." Because the content takes the form of why don't you do this? It's so easy. You're lazy. You should hustle and flip. But a question like that makes the profession more complex and challenging for the entry into that. So it's not really talked about. It's not really addressed because that's an important question. Your taxes, right? If you make a lot of money, you got to pay the tax man. So you can get in trouble with that because you're gonna get a big bill at the end of the year, or all that stuff. So I think that's pretty important to understand as you become a business. And I guess you could fly under the radar for a little bit if it's something that you're making a few $1,000s. Then that's not a super big deal. But when people are taking it seriously, which I'm seeing they are, they're going, "This is my business." Then that's sort of serious. That becomes a bigger question as to, okay, well, have an answer to that question, because really I'm putting it as an objection to them. I would do this, but this is the question I have, so I want an answer for it, so that you have a chance to sell me on it. That's a sales thing. So that's something to consider. And I guess there's another thing too, is maybe you have to have a reseller's license. Maybe you need like a certification to do that type of work, especially when you deal with large volumes of product. And then that again complicates things with the trademark logo. If you're having to advertise to generate traffic, how do you work around that? If you're featuring a product and has a clearly branded logo from a major company, you may not be able to do that. So how is that? How do you overcome that challenge? So I still don't have answers for those questions. So I'm still waiting. I may do more content to answer that. But those are the few things that kind of rattle around in my mind when I see those videos and I watch videos online, from people going like, "Oh, just do flipping, just do this and that." It feels more complex, and I think it feels like a poor way of doing content, because you're leaving out important bits of it. If I relate that to my music experience, it looks very different when it comes from a musician or someone in that discipline. I was in a band for a long time, and there'd be a hierarchy of experience. We would open for bands who were more experienced than us, and bands would open for us. So there's a level, there's mentorship happening. There's we help each other as much as we can. When people came to me for help or just questions and stuff, I would never sugarcoat things or try to hide negative points of what they're doing. In fact, I would lead with that. Maybe that's just the way I am, and maybe that's not a good way of explaining things. But for me, it made sense for my ethics, because I care about people deeply, especially people who are doing the same thing as me. Musicians. We're all playing the same game. We're all cut from the same cloth. So I'm very passionate about the people and how they succeed. So I don't want them to fail. In fact, I want them to do better. Do better. So I won't hide things. So when I'm talking about recording an album, playing shows, I would just tell it like it is and be like, this is hard work. You're gonna have to do this and that to prepare. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be expensive. You may not have a good time. You may have a great time, but I would never. I would try to not omit things in that dialogue that could potentially hurt them, because it's almost like setting somebody up on a road that has a bunch of pitfalls, and then you're thinking like, well, don't fall into those holes, like, because I don't want to see you do bad. So when I see content that omits that type of important stuff, it makes me think about the authenticity of it, and I question it more. But I don't know. I guess that's what's being fleshed out of me right now as we talk in this format in front of the camera is that. So I don't know if that's a good way of talking to people, but I do it because I care. I care about other people. I've already said that, but it's the truth. I really do. And so, if you're watching this and you're getting anything out of it, I hope these things help you in a way that can lead you to better success, or lead you to the next answer that you're looking for. Because for me, I'm a lifelong learner. I want to uncover answers. I find it difficult to research topics. We'll get off topic a little bit, I guess, right now. So we'll talk about, I guess, misinformation and agenda-based information, where it's difficult to research certain things right now because you end up on blogs that are marketing, affiliate marketing, if you will, and so it's very biased to point in the direction of the product that they're selling. So the information you get is sometimes incomplete. Most of the time it's good. I don't want to rag on blogs or websites that have a particular agenda, because you have to make money somehow. So, but it makes it challenging if you're trying to research and find the truth and find a good objective answer that satisfies what you're looking for. So I find it challenging for that reason. It could also just be the fact that I'm still unskillful in navigating the internet and finding my information about certain things, dialogues, the business models and all that stuff. So, but that's something to think about too. It's difficult to actually get answers, and so that's why this video is existing in the way it is, so that you can comment and make answers, create a dialogue, interact with me, make a reply video. I don't know, make content as well, and that's why I did it on TikTok, so people can respond to that. And there's a few replies already. So if you're seeing this, thank you for those comments. So I guess we'll move on to the next business model, which is the drop shipping. I'm just gonna have some more water here. Oh. Talking is difficult. It really is a skill. So, drop shipping. I'm going to just focus on drop shipping with Alibaba, because that makes up a lot of the content that exists on TikTok and I guess YouTube. because it's being depicted as easy. Like you start up a Shopify account, and then you log into Alibaba Express, and you connect certain products to your Shopify account, and then you change the price and mark them up so you can sell them for more. And then that's how you make money. And so that's what that's what I want to talk about right now. So I find that to be I guess I don't know what to call it, like interesting or worthwhile investigating, because the videos I'm seeing are basically younger people, I guess flexing or I guess bragging about marking up the price. They'll take their phone and they'll show you right on camera and be like, here's what I'm getting it for. It's like 99 cents or something, and then they mark it up to like $30. And I don't know. I don't, if you're a consumer, why do you want to see that? Or so I guess we're not the target audience if we're seeing that type of content. And then it makes you think, okay, well, who is the consumer for these products then? Because if you can get it for such a low price, why are you getting it on Shopify? And so that was my question that I was posting on TikTok. I was trying to wrap my head around the Alibaba markup situation. And so I was asking, like, well, why would you order from someone's Shopify store if it's that cheap? And so somebody answered, and they said, well, as a consumer, you can go to AliExpress. So it's aliexpress.com. I'll have the link for you there. You can go there as a consumer and just buy the product at that rate, at the reduced the wholesale price, I guess. And then you wait for however long it takes to ship. It's usually a few weeks, and I guess there's options. It all depends on where the product's coming from. If it's coming from China, then it's going to take a while. But I guess you can find products from the United States and lessen the shipping time frame. But that is sort of a weird concept for the consumer. So so you're the consumer. What's the benefit of you buying XYZ product from this person's Shopify store at a marked up price when you can, as a consumer, go to the website and get it for cheaper? And maybe it's the same shipping time frame. I don't know. So I'm still waiting for that as an answer. But I mean, that feels just kind of I don't know. I want to say dishonest, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to really call it. I mean, it's business. It's just the way it is. You buy low, sell high, and if you buy it, then I guess that's it. You've made money, or you got your product, or some people don't. Maybe they don't know about Alibaba. I mean, I'm just finding out about it too. So I was in a position where I had a lack of knowledge with that. But yeah, so think about that, right? So say you're a consumer and you've seen a Facebook ad for, I don't know, sunglasses or like some electronic product. I mean, whatever it is. You buy it for, I don't know, $30, and then you realize that you could have bought it for $3, including the shipping. How'd that make you feel? That would make you feel kind of, I mean, I don't know. It feels like you got taken advantage of, I guess, maybe. Again, I'm sorry if that maybe sounds bad, but I don't know. I have incomplete information, and this video is meant to complete that information, flesh out ideas from people, have people knowledgeable in these business models talk about this more in different ways, because as I've said before, the content that's being made that educates, I find, is incomplete. It doesn't address all of the angles of this online business model. And it feels kind of like a bubble, I guess, or something that may not have the longevity to last. Because you're really dealing with arbitrage, because you've got the flipping business model, which is just it's retail arbitrage, I guess. You're finding these deals in pockets. You buy low and sell high, but you have to hunt down these products, source them in ways that make a profit for you. And so it's just arbitrage. And it makes me think about history and how it repeats. I've talked about that a little bit in the reading list video that I did that's on this YouTube channel. Because I read A Farewell to Arms by Ernest Hemingway. And that's a World War I story. Fantastic book. It's the only book that I wept openly after I read. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but anyways. But it's a World War I story, so it puts you in the perspective of someone during that time, and I find that to be interesting history as a study. I think it's really important. Because history repeats, and so I'll kind of connect this in a second, so just stay with me. So retail arbitrage during the World War, if you know about the First World War in depth, it was arbitrage. There was a stalemate because of technology. Both sides had similar technologies. They were dealing with outdated military tactics, trench warfare. So they couldn't gain ground very well. It was a very slow process to gain ground. Lots of lives were lost in that process. And nothing really changed until technology evolved. And, you had the tanks at the end of the World War that were able to, push the Allies into victory. And so it feels like we're in a stalemate and an arbitrage right now, with the retail arbitrage situation, the Shopify, Alibaba business models where everyone's using the same technology and the same methods, and it's slowly becoming outdated as people like myself come to terms with what that is and understand it. Because just on a personal note, if I know I can buy something cheaper somewhere else, I will. That's a reality. So why would I buy a marked up product? There's that, right? So yeah, going back to World War. So you've got both sides fighting using the same technology. They can't gain any ground until technology evolves on one side or the other to make a change. And so I feel right now we're in a state in the world where things are about to change. It feels like there is some bubbles happening with technology. YouTube has changed a lot in over a decade. I remember, because I'm in my mid-30s, right? I'm 34. And so I remember YouTube was a certain way back then. It had particular content, and it's evolved and changed so much in such a short period of time. And so, dealing with copyright and all that, file sharing, streaming, and so we've already come a long way as it is. But I feel like within the last few years, 2019 going to 2020, that we've almost reached like a stalemate with technology, and we're almost just waiting for something new to happen, some advancement to occur that changes the game. Because when you deal with the drop shippers as a whole, they have to wrestle with the advertising concept. And that, they'll advertise on Facebook. They'll use a dominant advertising platform to bring traffic to their website, because getting organic traffic is that's a challenge. That's something that you have to work at, and so you can't do that right away. I'm not an SEO expert, by the way. I don't know a lot of that stuff. I just know what I know through what I read for free and what Google allows you to know through their algorithm updates. So I'm not an expert, but it takes time to get organic traffic, but advertising is quicker. So you pay for advertising to get traffic to your website, and hopefully you can find a way to break even or make more money than you spend, so that's profit for you, right? So that's why things are marked up the way they are, because the drop shipper, the business owner, has to advertise and spend money, so they have to recoup that in certain ways too. So let's ask this. So what happens when Facebook is not a dominant platform? I personally don't use Facebook. Maybe I should. Maybe that's why I struggle the way I am. But I don't use Facebook very much for this blog. I have a Facebook page for this, but it's mainly just so that I have it, and I guess that's kind of it. I use it for Spotify playlists and whatnot. So I guess there's that. But just imagine for a second. So you're buying ads on a platform that is slowly losing users. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't quote me on that. But I'm just going by my own experience. I mean, for me, I've been off Facebook for a while. I just don't use it. I use other platforms, other social media, which I'm still new at. I'm still learning it. So yeah, we'll run with that premise. So if your business is advertising on a platform that's not going to be there in a few years, then you're on a race to change your business model, pivot to something else, or find a new advertising platform, I guess, and find stability that way. So I wrestle with that as a challenge, because I mean I could be a drop shipper, sure, why not? I mean I have I already work from home already, so why not? But that's something that in my head it's like, well, okay, I would rather have stability. So that concept I don't have an answer for really, and it also makes you think too, like who is the audience that is going to buy these drop shipped items, these Alibaba cheap items. So there's all that to tackle, I guess maybe from an ethical point of view. I don't know. I guess we're shooting from the hip, talking right now. So I guess that's as far as we can really go, maybe with that concept. Because drop shipping, you can use things. I imagine there's other products outside of Alibaba. I guess Alibaba's not the only thing. So, but I don't know about that, so I can't really talk with you about it. So, yeah. So maybe this will spark a dialogue about it. For people to talk more openly about drop shipping. But because there's another thing too, think about this, right? Business people don't want to reveal their secret sauce, their magic bullets for success, because that's making them money. Why, you can share up to a certain point until, it has to benefit you still. But I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that either. I can only tell you my experience when I was a musician. There's no benefit for me to hold back information that helps somebody else, because it's really all in the implication, or I guess the execution of the idea. You could give somebody a concept or an answer to their question, but they still have to carry out that task that's involved, and they may not do it well. So when it comes to teaching somebody else, I've never had a problem sharing my secret sauce. I've never had a problem. I would prefer that my method of doing things, so that you could mutate that and share it back to me, because that's kind of the point. And I guess just to go off topic a little bit, that's how I would mentor people when I was working in call centers. I do have lots of work experience. I'm a mid-30s guy, so I've had jobs and stuff. Full-time work when I was doing music. So I worked in call centers. I'd have to train and mentor new hires, and that's how I would train them and not pull my punches. I would tell them straight up what I do, and because it led me to success. So if you do exactly what I'm doing, you can improve that at some point down the line and share it back to me, and we'll both be successful because we're playing on the same team. That's kind of the point. But it feels like maybe we're not playing on the same team when it comes to business. So that's another concept to tackle with. Sometimes I guess business is a zero-sum game. If you get those customers, I don't get those customers, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just shooting from the hip again. But if we go back to my reading list, there's a book I read this year. Actually, I reread it this year because I read it when I was a lot younger. Rising Sun by Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton's a fantastic author. Just as a side note, he has infectious writing. So if you haven't read Rising Sun, read it. You can watch the movie if you want. The book is a lot better, I find. It usually is. That's kind of just how things go. But the reason I'm bringing up Rising Sun is because the story depicts the Japanese culture, the characters in the book, as treating business like war. Now, I don't, if you're seeing that in that, I don't mean to offend. If that is not true, then I'm sorry. But I'm just using that as a premise from the story because it's in the book. You can read it. It's all there. I don't know how authentic it is in today's standards, but just so run with that as a premise. Business is war. So okay, well then, if you're a business and you're mentoring somebody else, then there is a danger of you revealing your secrets to somebody else in fear of them doing better than you and taking your customers and them making more money than you. So there's that fear, and I totally understand that. So there's that to wrestle with, and I don't have any good answers for that either. There's nothing I can really say that would further that dialogue in a positive way. I can only relate to my music experience because when I was a musician, I would tell the secret sauce of what our band's success was. I mean, really, it's just practice a lot, rehearse a lot. Try to plan things as best you can. Be accountable to the other band members. I guess maybe they're not secrets, but when you're dealing with someone who doesn't have that experience, to them it's a secret bullet. To them it's a secret sauce. So they want to know, and I tell them. Yeah, but really, it's are they going to get booked more shows more than my band? I don't know. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You can be on the same show, so I don't know. But yeah, deal with that concept. Business is war. History repeats itself. We're at an arbitrage of technology when it comes to business right now. All the drop shipping is happening. We're all dealing with the same technology. So really we're kind of in bloody water when it comes to the digital business, the landscape of the digital world. Everyone's doing the same thing. There's like ClickFunnels, one page landing page websites where it's just a lead magnet where you're just building up an email list and then using some marketing tech to send a lot of emails at once, and that's another type of business model is SaaS, software as a service. Creating, coding web applications that are for marketing purpose that leverage your time and stuff. Those are valuable things, but that's sort of what gets used in ways that. I don't know how to maybe explain that are hidden. Certain businesses will use a particular combination of products to find success, and so that's their secret, or I don't know. It's a complex world to exist in when you deal with technology, coding, and stuff. It almost makes me feel that I should have been coding a lot sooner and dealing with digital graphics and stuff. I sort of regret maybe not developing that skill earlier. Because again, I've spent most of my life in university and in the music world as a musician, so I've only developed that as a skill. So as I leave that discipline and move on to build other skills, I feel, I guess, somewhat disadvantaged. But yeah, so back to marketing tech. Software as a service. Yeah, it's all very interesting, right? So you've got web pages where there's multi-level marketing happening. People are making content that drives traffic to these lead capture pages, and then the affiliate marketing happens. People become prospects through a process, and that's all very. It feels complex. It feels unclear because. Who knows where you're going to end up when you put your email one of those things, right? Like it's not really clear what the product is. It's almost like there's sensationalization happens, and it's like, oh, cool, okay, well, I'm interested in doing this as a business, because it's really for you to become an entrepreneur so that you can buy their products and services to be an entrepreneur. So it's like the gold rush, and the people who made the most money were the people who sold the shovels and the pans and the equipment. The people going out to get the gold, they would need equipment. So the gold rush, if you use that as an example, was actually the business owners who sold the shovels, right? So that's a metaphor used commonly in this rhetoric of entrepreneurship, is selling the shovel. So when you deal with affiliate marketing and lead capture pages, they're selling you the shovel, so you have to be aware of that. It's not like they're gonna give you everything up front, so you end up paying a lot and you don't realize that you're gonna have to pay. So there's that, and that's what I struggled with too, as I was learning affiliate marketing, trying to sell these marketing products that was basically just selling the shovel. But then you expand on this gold rush idea, and so now you've got the people going to get the gold, the people selling the shovels to the people getting the gold, and then who is the people who are selling the shovels? They have to buy stuff from somebody else. Maybe the people that make the most money are the people that are selling the raw materials to make the shovels. So you end up with this hierarchy of people and resources, and just it makes you think, and it's sort of hard to recognize what's what on the internet. As we go back to the concept of misinformation, the malleable, changing landscape of information, agenda-based content where it has a very specific agenda. So it's really difficult to kind of know what's what. I guess maybe that's kind of the point, and maybe that's where this is all headed towards, is just kind of knowing what's what. And so I find it difficult to be to interact in the digital world and try and make money from it, because it would be nice to be a content creator and make good quality content, and be compensated for it, because it would kind of fit into my fine arts training, wouldn't it? I did music, I created stuff, I know art, I know artistic process. So wouldn't that be cool? And I would have an advantage over someone who doesn't have a fine arts degree. But anyways, I'm just sort of getting off topic a little bit. I'm flexing myself, my fine arts muscle, but I don't know. So yeah, think about that. If you're becoming a content creator right now, it's going to be hard. You are late. I was late to the game, and if you're just seeing this now and you're thinking, well, yeah, maybe I'll become a content creator, maybe I'll do affiliate marketing. It's difficult, so I won't sugarcoat that. It's going to be a few years before you even see some results. But maybe I'll plug my Bluehost affiliate offer in here, because maybe that's valuable. This, I think, it would be probably the most important thing to start with, is having your .com, having your blog, and maybe we'll talk about that for a little bit as I talk about the affiliate offer. Having your .com is like reserving your piece of real estate on the internet, but it's more like a condo, right? You don't really own all of it. It's just your space. So you're kind of just, I guess, maybe leasing it. So I use Bluehost. Bluehost hosts Newduereview. And it's a fantastic hosting platform. Just to talk quickly about their service, they have immaculate technical support service. That's important, because what happens if your website goes down? My website was eaten by bots a little while ago during the summer, and so I had to work with them to understand what happened. It wasn't clear when the website went down as to what happened. So they walked me through it, and I was very happy with their service. They picked up on the first answer, or the first ring. That's incredible. That's incredible service, period. I'm working in a call center myself. Yeah, So that's something too. If you're comparing prices and you're finding something cheap, consider the service you're going to get from Bluehost. That's really important. I would rather pay a little bit more to have the security of that platform than to pay less and potentially lose everything, because I lost everything. I had to start the whole website from scratch. So there's that to consider. So maybe if you're on the fence of who to choose for your host, choose Bluehost. I can't say enough good things about it. So I'll have my offer in the description below. It'll be a link. It'll be a Bitly link too. What is Bitly? Bitly is just a link cloaking service where you can take a long link and shorten it, basically. So it's more like a link shortener. So if you click that, it'll take you to the offer for Bluehost, and you can sign up. You'll get an intro offer, and so I think that would be valuable for you to start off. If you're going to start off as a blogger, really you become a content creator if you're a blogger anyways. If you make anything, you're technically a content creator, even if it's just a sort of video log of yourself or an online journal. That's content. Someone's going to read it and enjoy it. I consider you a content creator. So if you want to try that, get your .com first. Think about a unique domain that you want to make content for. What I would personally suggest is to focus on your passion. You have to scratch your itch in order to make it work. You can't choose something that's popular. I remember reading things and interacting with people who on forums who are like, okay, well, what's the most popular niche, and do that. I don't think that's a very good idea, because you have to be responsible for your content. At some point, you can't just pay people to write content or have cheap content, because it's not, you're going to lose authenticity. So you have to be passionate about your content. You have to be able to make it yourself. So choose something that you have a skill in, that you're knowledgeable in. If it's a hobby, a certain skill that you have, share that. Give your voice, and don't be afraid that your skill is diluted. Or I guess what I mean is that lots of people are doing that. I'm doing music. There's lots of music sites up, but I'm not concerned about that, because what I'm going to tell you is that it's your voice. People want to see you and have your opinion. That's why I'm doing this video, is to really show you how I form my own opinions, because I think that's important. People are going to want to know that in the future. So when you're making your content, put yourself in it. You have to be in the content. So when you're making whatever it is, if it's an article or a video, don't worry about the genre of it, the niche. Focus on your passion and just do that. It's going to take off eventually. It has to take time anyways for it to gain traction on the internet, because you have to push through all this noise. Because really, think of it like this. There's like 10 feet of dirt and like 80 feet of crap that you have to get through in order to be seen. So you have to kind of wade through the dead bodies of the failed digital people. So, just don't worry about it. Get your .com. Focus on something you're passionate about. Make content for it. And then try affiliate marketing. I feel affiliate marketing is going to be a lot more popular. It's gaining popularity. I learned about it in 2017, so I've been learning it for a few years now. I'm not an expert by any means. I use Amazon Associates on the website, so I have links for that. So that's what I'm focusing on right now, and then maybe I'll use ClickBank to link in some music offers. But that's kind of where you can go with it. So it's easy to start, and having a .com, even if you say you fail in affiliate marketing. Okay, so just let's take the worst case scenario. You fail, but you have a .com. It's your place. You can host content. You're responsible for everything on that website, and that's a powerful thing to have. It's almost your identity in the digital world. So think about that. That's a very interesting thing. We can actually talk more about social identity too with business models. There is a website called Social Tradia. I was just checking my phone because I saw it on TikTok, and so I was going to maybe pull up a video for it. But no, so there's a website where you can buy and sell Instagram profiles for a certain amount of money. For for an Instagram profile of a certain size, you can buy someone's profile. That's a very strange concept, isn't it? But think about that for a little bit. Your.com is yours. It's your identity. But identities are interchangeable on social media platforms. So, having your own .com is a nice way to prove almost who you are in a way, I think. So if you have all these social media accounts, you've got nothing to ground them all in. You've got nothing to collect them all together with, and you can link all your social media accounts onto your blog, your private .com website. So think about that. Not everything on social media is authentic. If you can buy and sell a profile on on that website, I'll put a link for it because I think it's called Social Tradia. I'm not 100% sure, so forgive me for that, but I'll put a link in there. So yeah, for a few $100s, you can buy a profile, and the business model that is being talked about on TikTok is that you buy and sell shoutouts. So you buy this popular account, and you direct message other people on Instagram, and you say, okay, well, I'll give you a shout out for $50, whatever amount, and then you deliver what it is you said you would deliver, and that's how you make money. But that's to me, that feels sketchy because you're buying and selling an identity in a way. People are made to believe that in social media you are who you say you are, but that's not the case with this business platform. If you go there, you're going to see these very attractive models that you can buy their account, and you're not that model, so you can be anybody. You can be somebody it's totally different and be using that account making people believe you're somebody else. I don't know how well that's going to pan out in the future, but it's a website, it's real, you can go check it out. I can't talk too much about it because I don't know a whole lot. That's still new to me, but I'll mention it here because maybe that will spark some debate. Maybe you can talk about that more and leave a comment. I guess talking more about it. I guess. Sorry, I was just kind of thinking of what to say. So that's weird, but that points back to the misinformation concept. Changing information. So. That's so science fiction-y, right? It's like where are we? It feels like we're in a science fiction novel or something. I think there was a mention of that in the Margaret Atwood Mad Adams series books, where you can buy and sell profiles, identities, and stuff, and it's just like, wow, we're in a time when that's really happening. Maybe I've read too many books. Maybe I'm just getting ahead of myself, or I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. So the internet's filled with these sort of schemy like business models where the moment I hear it, I think, ooh, like that's I don't know, like that doesn't seem genuine. Because some people may believe you are who you are on Instagram. Because some people are legit and try really hard to make you believe who they are. So there's that, right? So it's almost like you're cheating in the game, I guess. That's what it makes me feel like, is that by making money that way, you're sort of just taking advantage of other people. But then look at it from this perspective, right? Okay, so let's expand this more. So what if everyone does this? So you're buying and selling profiles on Instagram. What happens if you end up trying to direct message and sell some other purchased account? How does that work? does the price change? Are you going to dilute the method that you're using if everyone's using it and doing that way? I don't know. Like, I don't know how that is going to expand. I guess you can't really expand that too much, because then you just end up, you just kind of end up in a situation where all these profiles are fake, and you end up messaging someone who's not who they say they are. I don't know, but yeah, think about that. I'll leave that with you. I'll try and put some links in there so that you can do research for yourself. And then you can research more flipping business models. There's an article that I found from 2013 that talked about flipping, and the fact that you could you need to be more careful with the legal part of it, because you're dealing with trademarks infringement. So yeah, I'll do what I can to make it easier for you to have consumed this video and have it be valuable to you, so that you can launch off from this and go new places and find out more, and maybe report back and say, hey, look, here's what I found. Because I would love that. Again, I think doing this video is my way of reaching out to the world and saying, hey, like, give me an answer. Like, I want to know more, because I can't find it. It's hard to find mentors and people to teach you the things that you want to know. So yeah, there's that. So I hope this was somewhat helpful. I don't want it to have come across that I'm complaining or being negative. I'm just trying to work through the things that I see, and the things that kind of don't make sense from a gut instinct point of view. But again, maybe I'm just miseducated. I don't have all the facts, but that's kind of the point too. Is I don't have all the pieces, so that's why I'm doing it this way, so that you can help. With that, what I'll do is I'll put the reading list links for my website, so that you can see the books I read. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll be useful for you to interact with. I read a lot of sales books during my sales career, and then I read a lot of books in 2019, fiction, nonfiction, a lot of cool stuff that has influenced me, made me more knowledgeable, and look at the world a different way. Sometimes science fiction books are good at making you think about the world in a different way. Science fiction is powerful for that reason, I think. When you deal with fantasy and technology, there's a funny thing about Star Trek and all that, where a lot of the technology in Star Trek is somewhat come true, right? When you see those, like the old Shatner Star Trek, where they've got the flip phones. It's like, well, we already have flip phones. We've already got these communicators and all that. So, I guess there's something to say about science fiction eventually coming true at some point. And when I think about the William Gibson novels, the Sprawl series, like Neuromancer, Count Zero, and Mona Lisa Overdrive, you deal with technology in those stories, and it sort of feels like we're almost at a point where some of it can be partially coming true, or coming true in different ways and variations. But those stories are written in the 80s, in the 20th century, a long time ago. It's been a while since the 80s, or even before that. So, so here we are at an interesting point of time that we have to deal with these technologies and ask questions. And, I think the only way that we're going to be better is that you, the audience, don't give content a free pass. Don't give things a pass if it doesn't satisfy your answers. You reach out and ask hard questions of people. If you come across content that's like, that doesn't seem accurate, make a comment, or make content that addresses that. Make a video that is a reaction video that's like, hey, I saw this thing on the internet, I saw this business model, or I talked to somebody in person and they said this, and I don't know genuine that information is. And that's another musical thing too. Is I think when it comes to music, the audience has almost allowed music to change in ways that have I don't know how to describe it. Maybe just change it. Because I don't want to say it's bad. I mean, music. I don't think any music is bad. To be honest, it's just some music is better than others. Some music is more genuine. Like digital pop music is. I don't know. I have various opinions about that. We can talk more about that in the future. But it comes back to the audience and how you teach your audience. That's a wrestling concept too. Actually, maybe we can talk about maybe we can shoehorn Bret Hart in there as a wrestler. What an icon! Anyways, but you think about training your audience to be a certain way and consume certain content. They have to be trained because they have to have their expectations met. Art and music is kind of the same way. So you have to train your audience to want more. Because they're going to hold you accountable to better content. If you're giving content that is subpar a pass, then it says that was okay. It says that content was just fine. Give me more. But no, I don't think that should be the case. If it doesn't meet your needs in some ways, stand up and say that no, I want more. I want a better answer. And that's what this. That's maybe another concept of this video that we're now fleshing out at the very, very end of it is saying, stand up for yourself in the digital world, and just say, hey, look, that doesn't seem right. Tell me more. Defend your idea more, because I really don't see ideas being defended that way. I guess no one's questioning a lot of the stuff. They're just sort of accepting it, or they're just ignoring it. People are just kind of letting it be, and that's sort of like a free pass to have the content exist. So I don't know. Sorry, I'm just gonna have a drink. I'm getting hungry, so I'm kind of gassing out. That's kind of funny too. Maybe we can talk about that. I'm just when you get hungry and your sugar crashes, you start to think weird things. So maybe I'm just letting myself go so that we can come up with weird ideas and stuff. But yeah, I think content creators should be held to a higher responsibility in terms of what they're teaching, especially the edutainers. That's a new concept that I've just learned. Education entertainment. So the content creators who are making content that is meant to entertain as well as educate, I think they should be held to a higher responsibility of what they're teaching. Well, imagine being a school teacher. You have to teach the right facts to your students. So you should be held accountable to what you're teaching, and no one is really holding very many people accountable as this content just gets uploaded. There's so much content being uploaded every day. It's incredible. So I don't know. There's that, and then if you have a .com, you have power to form your own opinions and publish your own opinions. So you can write an opinion piece and publish that on your .com. So maybe that's another thing to sell the idea of having your own web hosting and your own blog, is that now you've got the power to write an article, link it to the comment, and then have people read your comment from these all the things you experience, and then you can drive traffic that way, and people can read your opinions, and then you can put yourself out there. So you can't do that really without a .com. You can make comments within the platform, but then those comments are owned by the platform. They can't be extracted. Your .com is yours. Your articles, those are your words. So I think that will be a more important concept as my generation gets older. I don't even know what generation I am. I'm a millennial, 34, so whatever that makes me. I don't feel like a millennial. I don't really care about the generations, but it is important because people of different age groups are different people. Like my parents, they're in their 60s. They come from a very different world than what I grew up in. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. I experienced the change of technology. So, I have a different world view than older people. And then the old people, sorry, I don't mean to call you old, but you have a different worldview as well too. So, there's that to realize. So as I get older and carry forward my opinions, I'm going to hold the opinion that having a strong voice in the digital world is important. So the .com blog I think will be important for people to have as you get older. So yeah, maybe I'm just sort of developing a sales dialogue to sell the Bluehost, but I don't know that I think there's truth to that. I wouldn't say it if I didn't actually believe that would be true. So know that I'm just trying to be authentic. I'm gonna run out the camera because I can see that I've got 5 minutes left, I guess, on the hard drive. I don't even know how long that was. I was talking. It's almost therapeutic to express your opinion like this in a free form. In a free form way. So where can we leave off? I'll get close to the camera so I can see. So we got 4 minutes. Yeah, so I don't know, like I was a musician. I think music is a good skill to experience because it can teach you a lot of things. It can teach you improvisation. As a skill, it shows you how to develop art. It shows you how to make variations on art, how to appropriate certain other pieces of art, or copy. There's the old saying, good musicians borrow but master musicians steal. I don't know if that's the right saying, but there's instruction in that quote that says you have to copy stuff to a point to change it into something new, and there's methods to that, and music teaches you proper methods of developing ideas from old ideas. That's why the good musicians and the good bands, they draw from old influences from the past to build new ideas. And we're seeing a resurgence of 80s aesthetic currently with Stranger Things. It's like a love letter to the 80s. What a great series too. So think about that, right? Music allows you to train yourself on those concepts. It may be obvious to you going like, oh, it's an 80s throwback. Well, I mean, there's much more to it. In a way, when I see Stranger Things as an 80s love letter, I just see it as very skillful artist developing a variation on a past aesthetic, past concepts, past ideas, and look how successful it is. It's one of the most popular Netflix series out there. So, there you go, right? How are we doing? 2 minutes left? Okay, so I don't know. Yeah, art is a good thing to be educated in. History. I drew some historic examples, and yeah, I don't know, but I really don't know what's valuable. I have regrets of not being able to code and do digital works. So yeah, who knows what's going to be valuable in the future. But I've never regretted for a second being a musician or experiencing music. That's always going to be a very special thing for me to have. And well, I guess I'll thank everyone that I worked with musically. So because you gave me those experiences, all the people I played with and stuff. So yeah. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for anyone who's read my articles and got value. And yeah, I guess thanks to the musicians that I've had a chance to know and play with. You made it. You made my experience. So yeah, thank you for that. And I guess we'll end it off there. So I'll just turn off the camera. All right, bye.